This is the Seller Process Podcast, where we talk about the best systems, processes, and SOPs for your Amazon business so that you can regain control of your time, build up your team, and scale your e-com empire.
Hello, entrepreneurs. If you are looking for new channels to expand your business and create a household brand by entering big box stores and retail chains, then this episode is for you. Our guest today will share with us the process to turn your e-commerce business into a retail-ready brand so that you can wholesale your products to offline buyers and retail stores. Today, we're joined by Talor Offer. He has been selling products offline to retailers and specialty stores in the USA since 2003. During the years, he sold to over 60 different retailers across the USA, continuing to sell his own brands and also helping various sellers to move from online to offline, expanding sales channels. Hey, Talor, thank you for being here. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me today, Gianmarco. It's my pleasure to be with you here.
Awesome. So I'm excited about this talk today because actually it comes in very timely, in my journey, because I'm actually, working on expanding to offline stores. I think it's a great actually way to, expand further whenever you have like some products that are successful. It makes sense to keep pushing on those products and just trying to spread them out as much as possible in as many channels as possible. So we just mentioned retail ready. It's a word that maybe many people might not be familiar with. So I'd like you to start by giving some context to tell people, like, what do you mean by retail ready and why Amazon sellers should care about it?
Definitely. So retail ready, let's talk about it in short. We'll try, and later on we might go into some more details. So when you say retail ready, this is actually the point of view from the retailer side. And when we talk about the retailers, we're talking about the teams that we're working with. Now, normally people would think that you're going to work with buyers, but it's not only buyers. It's like category managers and GMO, general merchandise officer, sometimes even sourcing managers. There's a lot of titles, but however you put that, each and every title is, a person at the end of the day is looking at your brand and trying to understand not only what your products are, but also who's the company behind it. Now, as an Amazon seller or e-commerce seller or online seller, normally, and this is something that I'm seeing all the time, normally people are not aware of how the retail works. So they are trying to present their products in a way that it seems like sort of a funnel, which means just showing the product, showing what it does, talking about, what discount you're going to get or what voucher you're going to get, and pushing it all the way to the sell. While in the retail side, it's a little bit different. How different it is? First of all, visibility and branding is something very, very important in the offline. And why is it so important? The thing is that two main points is, number one, not only they expect you to sell them great products that will sell for them on their shelves in their physical stores, but also those retailers are somehow expecting your brand to also push those sales. And how could you push the sales? You can push them by having great branding and by having very good, social media traffic. And the combination of a good website and a good, packaging and the way the product is presented is what, is a first push for them in terms of sales. The second point that they are looking at is a very important point. There's a lot of Amazon sellers trying, to get their hands into the retail to try to communicate with whatever, Home Depot or Costco or all these giant big boxes. And when buyers, I would say buyers, but when I say buyers, I mean different titles. But when a buyer is looking at that, is sometimes very quickly identifying that the other side is actually an Amazon seller or just an online seller. And as an online seller, they are a little bit, not to say a lot, afraid of how would it work with this company in terms of operational side and logistics side and pricing side and so forth. So even if you have good branding, which is the first 2 points that I refer to as a retail ready, branding is actually made by the website and the catalog. Okay, we'll talk about the catalog later. So even if they define that, they might be afraid that you're not aware of the process with retail, and then taking you to this journey for them is going to be, is going to be rough, because at the end of the day, these people are mostly working on commission. I mean, yeah, they have their salary and everything, but everyone is waiting for the, end of the year commissions, and the commissions are based off how many products that this certain team or buyer brought to the shelf that were actually sold. So that's why, if they think that down the road with the process with you as a vendor, taking you as an example, they would have hard time to set you up as a vendor, or hard time to work with you with shipping or logistic parts or any other retail parts, which we will talk about, then they're like, okay, I'm not sure that the products are good, but I'm not sure I want to work with this company because it doesn't look like they understand the business. Okay, it's a very important point. So just to sum it up, so we have the branding, which is the website and catalog. We have the overall looking, which is the packaging. Very important, the packaging, we'll talk about it. Then we have 3 more points, which we'll talk about it as well, that are research, like researching your competitors in the physical stores. Not an easy thing to do. And then from that, you will have to know and understand the pricing, because pricing and research obviously are going together. Because if you see your competitor selling a product for $45 while you're retailing that product for $50, then it's more or less okay. But if the differences are like 50%, then we have a problem. And next, the last thing is the brief. Brief is a term saying, how am I presenting my products in like 4 or 5 sentences? It's the same question if you ask me like, hey, Talor, how do you define yourself business-wise as a person in short, in like 20 seconds or even 10 seconds? It's the same thing. So those are the 6 points that retail readiness is built from.
Awesome. That's very interesting. Actually, I think most people are not aware of all that you mentioned. We really need to, everything starts from really putting yourself in the shoes of the buyers and understanding their mindset, so that we can basically walk with them, like give them what they are looking for. That's very great information. Before we dive deep into these 6 points that you just mentioned, I'd like you to give some perspective to people in terms of potential. So if they would like, to embark in this journey to get into offline retailers, what are the expectations, what they can expect in terms of timing, payment terms, and margins, for example? Because I think these are some of the important points that people even might have like misconceptions, or they're misinformed, right? So I love you to give some clarity on these points.
So I'll take 2 extreme points of actual examples of brands that I work with, and you can define from that the variety. So in terms of time, how much time it takes to literally have your products in the store, on the shelf, on the ground, wherever it is. The fastest I've seen was last year, a vendor from LA selling face care products, and she approached me and everything. We started a retail ready process because she wasn't really retail ready. She was halfway ready. And once we've done with that, we started sales. And that's what I do, because normally agents or rep agents would start sales immediately, not even thinking about those points. And that brings to a problem where if you are not retail ready and you're trying to sell it, you're going to run into a wall. So anyway, I'm doing both, like retail readiness, if it's needed, and the sales part. So when we got to the sales part, I think within less than 4 weeks or 3 weeks, we've already seen the first 3 orders, which were overall more than $400,000, it was a very good start. Now, at the same time, exactly the same time, I started with another brand, which was actually very good, overall looking good. And I thought it's going to be successful and very fast because they have more than 400 SKUs and a very beautiful products. But it took almost half year just to get our foot and start to talk with CVS, which is the biggest pharmacy chain store in the States. And until we got into almost 8 months until we got the first order. Okay, so these are two extreme points. Normally, obviously, somewhere between a few weeks until you start to see responses, because buyers are taking their time and someone is on vacation and the other one is not in office and so forth. But then it depends how hard you push, because as you mentioned in the beginning, I'm working with 60 retailers, but I managed to expand this to almost 100 in the last half year or so. I've pushed and I established a new team for sales only for that and everything. But anyway, bottom line is that with that amount of contacts, which is the main thing here, I'm able normally within the first month or two to start seeing movements, getting POs, sending samples. And you have to keep in mind that you send samples, it takes a few days. The email back and forth is taking another few days. Not nobody, but most of them would not, be so responsive and so fast. You have to follow up with them. What do you think about the samples I sent? Do you want to move on? What's the pricing? And so on and so on. So yeah, a few weeks, a month or two would be a normal time to get your, foot in.
Okay, great. What about margins? Just to have a perspective, because people are used to maybe say 30% to 40% usually in e-commerce. What about wholesale?
So the margins are quite different, but then you're looking at a volume, because when you sell whatever, 1 piece a day or 50 pieces or 500 pieces, it's not the same when you're looking at an order of, let's say, 100,000 pieces, right? You would not expect to make the same profit, not even near to that. So here's like a basic pricing of wholesale retail market. You have your MSRP, which is the retail price, basically the price you have on your website and on Amazon. And it's recommended to have the same price on both platforms. Amazon sellers are normally that's what they do. And then if you look at the wholesale price, so the benchmark would be half of it. Meaning if my product is selling for $50 on my website or on Amazon, I would normally offer it for $23 to $25. Okay, that's a normal price. And then I'll have to look at my cost, because if my landed cost, COG, my cost of goods in the warehouse in LA, New York, wherever it is, my landed cost for the product, let's say this is the product, and it cost me $12 or $8, then I'm good, very good. Why? Because normally a very good profitable business would be when I can double the price for a wholesale price, and the wholesale price is going to be doubled again to get the retail price. But this is like a topic, okay? Mm-hmm. In real life, it doesn't happen too much. What does happen is normally you would buy that certain product for like whatever, 15 or 17 or something, even $20. So then you don't look at percentage. You start thinking in different way of approach. You think about $1 or cent per piece. So if the order that I'm getting is 20,000 pieces and I'm getting $0.50 a piece, then that's nice, but not the best on earth. But if I'm getting only 10,000 pieces and I'm getting $3 each, then it's better. So you start playing with the numbers. And obviously the price, the wholesale price you're selling to Bed Bath & Beyond, which are working on normally 50%, so it's good, would not be the same price as you're selling to TJ Maxx, because TJ Maxx are working on 25% off the MSRP. So if my price is $50, that means that TJ Maxx would not pay more than $12 to $13 at the max, maybe 14 if they really love the product. So, but TJ Maxx quantities are much far bigger than what Bed Bath & Beyond can buy. So
Yeah, that's interesting, and that's actually better than I thought. If you're talking about half of the retail price, or might be less, but still, with bigger volumes, then we're talking about maybe a net margin of, I don't know, between 10 to 20%, maybe max. something like that?
You're probably going to make much more than that. For 10% on the big volume, it's not, it doesn't worth it, because you have to keep in mind that there's something very clear on when it comes to retailers, not other channels. Other channels is different, and we will talk about the other channels. But with retailers, traditionally, they would pay you net plus, meaning they get the goods in the warehouse, they ship it to their stores, or you ship it, doesn't matter. And then you have to wait another 2, 3, or sometimes even 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. The longest I've seen was net plus 60 days, which is very, very, hard. But then again, it's all a matter of how you negotiate with them. I've seen, and this is something that started in the last 2 years since we, ran into the situation we are at, that retailers sometimes are willing to pay deposit. And this is something that never happened before. I can even tell you more than that. When the chaos started back in March 2020, I've seen cash orders, meaning I shipped after I got payment from, it was TJ Maxx and Burlington and Home Goods that worked that way. Why? Because everybody understood that the market is so unstable right now that nobody wants to take risk. Not them and not me. So they just pay, get the goods, and that's it. But again, normally you have to keep in mind that it's net plus something. Now, people might think, oh my God, where am I going to bring $500,000 from? Forget it. Don't think with those, ideas, because here's the thing. It's always negotiable. There's always a conversation. Sometimes I'm seeing like, damn, trying to order whatever 200,000 pieces, and I'm, the vendor says like, I can get you 50,000, not more than that at the moment, or at this frame, or I can get you another 50 later, or whatever. It's, there's conversation. They don't just drop an order on you and that's it. There are humans behind those emails and phone calls and everything. So, they understand that, there are different situations. So it's very flexible.
Interesting. Yeah, for sure. These are really great insights. Obviously, we're talking of totally different game. There are totally different volumes here, so it can get really big quite fast, relatively fast. Once you get into different retailers, so that's actually a very interesting thing to look at. And also one quick piece of data I'd like to share with people, if they don't know, but I mean, it's usually lots of people heard about that. E-commerce is just a tiny percentage of the whole overall retail that is happening, for example, in the US, right? So we're sitting at about less than 20% right now in the US. So meaning that 80% of retail happen offline and just 20% it's online. So this means it's a huge potential for e-commerce to grow, but it means that there is like 3 times, 4 times that, the potential going offline. So definitely, I think it's an avenue that every brand should consider once they grow a little bit on Amazon or online, right? So Talor, I'd like to go with you on some of these 6 points that you mentioned to be retail ready. We probably won't have the time to cover all of them, but let's try to to give some insights in as many as possible. So I think some of these points were like websites, e-catalog, packaging, pricing. So let's start, for example, with the website. What are your recommendations to make like a retail ready website so people can start approaching these buyers?
Definitely. And we will add some, websites, for example, later on. I'll send you and everything. So here's the thing. Website is your own website. It's your place. It's your game. It's your thing. It's not another extension of Amazon. And why am I saying that is because a lot of vendors, and that's what I'm seeing, are making it, naturally something that looks like Amazon. How does it look like Amazon? With all the reviews and feedbacks and the 5 stars, 3 stars, and so forth. This is, your website is your website. I appreciate and I know where it comes from and I understand that. But then again, if you want to build your brand, for the future, not just sell on Amazon and that's it, and you want to build it bigger, and at the end of the day, either enjoy it with your family or your sons or whatever it is, daughters, or sell it, either way, you want to build a brand. Now, building a brand means that you need actual real branding. Now, here's one very crucial point. It's not the same if I'm selling cups and if I'm selling wipes. Why? Because this is so-called over-the-counter, and this one is houseware or kitchenware, right? And being so, there are so many websites out there you can check that can tell you by the product and by the vibe that you want to transmit, what are the matching colors. That's number one. Number two, there's also websites that are predicting, in most cases they're right, predicting trendy colors. So for instance, for 2022, the prediction last year was, I think, like ceramic colors, okay, ground color. Okay, kind of light brown or stuff like that, and gray. And I am actually seeing that these are the colors that are really in the market, stronger. And obviously it's going to change for 2023. But then colors and a vibe is what you want to see in your website. Another good tip I can give you is rendering. It's not something expensive. There are so many 3D rendering, VAs that are doing this in like no time. They take your pictures, they build, a short 10 seconds video, and think about your website selling a bag. Okay, you just sell a bag, and that's it. You're showing your bag, and it's boring because people have seen bag pictures so many times. While if you do it with rendering, then you have someone, either you have it flipping and rounding and showing whatever attributes you have in the bag, or you have a lady walking down the street with the bag with, cool atmosphere, urban atmosphere, whatever you choose to use. So this is like, small tips about branding, but if you take them and develop them, you can, really get a good branding.
Right. That's interesting. So obviously, we need to have great branding in our website and just wow the buyers when they see it, and the customers, obviously. So we need to give this kind of confidence to the buyers that we will be able to support them with our good branding, so that people on the shelves, they will see the products and, get excited and buy it. So actually that leads us to one of the next points, which is packaging. I think it's important to talk about that, because people create their packaging, obviously, to go on Amazon, to be sold on Amazon. But then I think it could be a good time then to have a mindset shift, and start creating the packaging right off the bat in a retail ready way, right? So that we don't need to spend more time later on. So what are the elements that of our retail ready packaging, so that we can create it right away?
Yeah. So if you sell your products online, you don't mind if they are in polybag or just blank white box or even brown box. Nobody cares because it's online. They don't see the packaging. But when you walk through into the store and you look at the product and it's in a polybag, then you don't even know what it is, or you don't feel like buying it because, right? So then packaging should either be on a box. It depends the product, but normally, it could be a blister. It's fine. But as long as you have a packaging that if a consumer looks at it, they know in a second what the product is. If they don't, if you start, using only your logo on that, or a picture that has nothing to do with it, or whatever it is, then you're losing the consumer. Think about they walk through the store and they have less than a second or two looking at your product and thinking if this is something they want to approach and look and check and buy or not. That's the first option. The second option, and I'm hearing this a lot recently, I just got an email like that last week saying that products are good, packaging is good, but we prefer seeing this with a window. Now, what is a window? A window is another 20 or 30 cents on the factory side in China or India or wherever it is. But the impact is very strong because literally you see the product inside, it sits inside the box. Okay, so having a transparent window is a very good option. Either way, you just have to think very, very simple that you want to transmit the consumer the idea of what is he looking at. Okay, so it doesn't have to be sophisticated. And obviously you can use, I mean, normally I see that white boxes are something that, white background boxes, this is something that goes very good in retail. But keep in mind that some of them, at least, the mid to high end retailers, like let's say REI or Bass Pro, or companies like that sells for quite high prices, they want to have it recyclable material made out of packaging. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But it's not a must. I mean, most of them would not care about recyclable or not.
Okay, yeah. That's interesting. So guys, I think I really recommend everyone to start with the end in mind. Whenever you're going to launch your next product, then, think that at someday, one point you will also might sell that product into retail stores. So start with creating a nice packaging that reflects your branding, that has nice colors. Maybe it's recyclable, maybe has windows like Talor just suggested. So just make those tweaks right in the beginning so that you're ready to go whenever it's going to be time for you to sell.
Right. And here's the last tip. I wouldn't give that. I don't speak about it, but I want to give it because it just crossed my mind. If you can make your packaging as something that can be reused, that's the best on earth. Because think about someone buying a t-shirt in a box, not a t-shirt, doesn't make sense, but whatever, something for the kitchen, all right? And they open the box, and instead of just throwing it, to the trash, to the garbage, they can put jewelries in that, okay? There are like, small walls inside, and you can put jewelries, or you can use it for the product that you bought or something like that. If it's usable packaging, and I've seen people doing that, this is like, wow. And this is a wow, not only for the retailers, this is a wow also for your Amazon store. Why? Because when a product, there's a lot of unboxing videos out there in YouTube showing, different products that people bought. And if people would start seeing your packaging that is with reusable packaging, they would yell to the sky how good it is and how they love it. And this is going to make a huge buzz around your brand.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great tip. Yeah, for sure. That's just give me some ideas on how to improve my products as well. Right. So we mentioned that image, it's really important when approaching retailers. We want to show that we look good, we have a good branding. So I think the third point that you mentioned before, it's the e-catalog, so which is something that also shows our brand, our product. So what's that about, and how should we structure an effective e-catalog that then will grab the attention of buyers?
So a good e-catalog is actually a kind of reflection of your website, but with, different glitches. It has to be PDF. Nobody wants to see Excel or Word. Number two, it has to be well organized, clean, not with TMI, not too much information. Try to make it, as narrow as you can in terms of like 4 or 5 attributes related to the product on the left side or right side. And then the other side, a nice picture of the product. Lifestyle images could be well. You start with your logo and with your, slogan at the first page. And from second page, you have to go down to products. You cannot have people looking at a catalog for 5 pages and not seeing the products, because they, there's a limit time. Think about the psychological side of that. There's a limit time of how much they would scroll down, not even understanding what they're looking at, right? Just telling them about your company and your family and how it all started. They don't care about it. It could be on the last page, it's fine. But when it comes to the beginning, you have to show them slogan, what is it all about, what we do, and boom, second page must be product already there, okay? And again, you can change, for instance, the background color each and every page. And by that, and obviously you can't make, something that doesn't make sense design-wise, but by doing so, you are creating interest on the other side, because they are seeing products that are from the same category, but the fact that the background color is changing every page makes them like more curious without them even knowing that. It's something that happens on the back of the head. So yeah, you have to keep them curious all the time. Like, oh, something changed here. It was turquoise and now it's yellow, and now it's, green, now it's brown, whatever it is. But the products and the overall structure of the catalog has to be, consistent. So, yeah.
For sure. Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, obviously every psychological element, comes into place like in every other situation. So with the same for our website, then our e-catalog is the same. We should use our branding in a way that grabs the attention of people. So we covered 3 out of 6 points. You guys will find also examples of each of these points in the PDF that we're going to share with you. You will find it in the show notes. Just go to thesellerprocess.com, find this episode, and you can download it in the show notes of this episode or in the description of the YouTube video. Okay, so you can go deeper with all these points. You can learn more and also see like real life examples of that you can use as benchmark basically for like a good looking website, a good looking catalog that Talor it's giving to us. So for you to understand this better. All right. So thank you very much, Talor. Tell people how they can reach out if they'd like to your support in selling in retailers, and how can you help them?
Definitely. First of all, on Facebook, Talor Offer, Talor. I mean, people call me Talor or Talor is the same, but we spell it Talor. That's on Facebook, LinkedIn as well. And obviously my website, retail-empire.com. And there's a slide on the left side, retail ready service. I know it's called service, but it's not always that. It's just applying with a form, short one that takes like 30 seconds to fill in, and then I'm getting this on email and I can review your product, your line, what's happening, and then we can schedule a call, a Zoom call to see if there's, potential for this particular brand in the retail space. That's how you can reach me out.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much again, Talor. Guys, remember, the key to success is to emulate the best. So go implement the tips that Talor just shared with us, and you will be retail ready to crush with your business with retail stores or big box retailers. That's a great actually opportunity for you to grow your brand. So I really thank you again, Talor, for sharing these tips. And the guys, go download the PDF that Talor just made available for us and take action. Thank you, Talor. I hope to see you next time.
Thank you so much, Gianmarco. Pleasure being with you. Thank you. Have a good one.
Hey, entrepreneurs. I hope you enjoyed the episode and learned something from the interview. If you're serious about creating systems for your business, automating processes and building up your team so that you can transfer the tedious daily tasks in order to focus on more high-level strategic tasks and work on your business and not in your business, I've created a guide for Amazon sellers named Capturing Systems and Creating SOPs that you can find at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook, where you will learn how to leverage systems and SOPs in your Amazon business so that you can accomplish more by working less, optimize your time, automate and delegate tasks, and reap the benefits of being a true business owner and not simply an operator in your own business. Go download the ebook at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook and start implementing all the tips and insights that I share with you. And leave us a review or a comment to let us know how the content we are sharing here is making an impact in your business. And have a productive week.